I remember when Dead Space came out and the thrill of playing that game.
The sheer joy of
how it captured atmosphere.
The occasional jump scare and the claustrophobic feel it gave you. And to be honest with you, ever since then, and even more so ever since I got my Meta Quest 3, I've been wanting to feel that exact same thing, but in VR. And when I encountered By Grit Alone, it gave me hope.
But was it enough to satisfy what I was looking for?
Now, I'm not going to ask you to like and subscribe just yet, as it's just at the beginning of the video, but if you find yourself enjoying yourself later on, please do go ahead. First of all, I think I'm going to mention the fact that By Grit Alone had one of the best intros of a game I've ever played. Now, I'm not talking about the tutorial, I'm actually talking about the first little bit of the game that kind of like gets you into it. And it really does set the pace and the feel for the rest of the game. Interestingly enough, the story behind the game is actually quite interesting. Long story short, you're marooned in an unknown dimension, and the only way to survive and to get back to, well, civilization, I guess, is to go from ship to ship in order to refuel your own ship and also to uncover different mysteries. Each ship has a different feel and each ship has a different story to unfold. And you'll be uncovering these with voiced recordings, dialogue written down or typed down, and even brilliantly hollow emitters that unfold the story in front of your very eyes. But I'm pretty sure that a lot of you are here for the carnage that ensues through these levels. And in order to do this, you have a weapon. In fact, a weapon that kind of changes into a rifle. In its normal state one-handed, it's a pistol. Change your grip to two-handed and it's a rifle. And it works quite well. Your ammo doubles up for grenades, and each time you put one in you get 10 bullets or whatever they are, and it's just a simple matter of popping each out and then popping a new one in to reload. These regenerate after a while, and as I said, you can use them as grenades as well. As I kind of mentioned before, this is set in space, which gives it that Dead Space vibes. It's very close, some of it very dark, eerie. You can hear the ship creaking and the squeaks of the aliens. At times you'll be blasting your way through loads and loads of different creatures, and also some boss type encounters. But then other times you'll be creeping your way around and under and over objects, or trying to defend yourself whilst trying to work out light puzzles. And admittedly, yes, I did move at some jump scares, and these are even more
jumpier
in VR. I found the way that they managed to give you a heart-pounding experience and then calming you down until you thought you were safe, and then jacked up the excitement once again, having you frantically try to survive, move past objects and shooting aliens all at the same time. Graphics and sound. I think graphically they have nailed that Dead Space feel. In fact, in its own right, it just looks amazing. At points it's so dark that you have to use your torch to pierce through it in order just to see the slightest thing. The aliens are all kind of themed around the same thing, but you do get a good variety. And trust me, when these get in your face, they are kind of scary. I found the weapon and grenades look pretty cool when used. There's also a stomp action where these creatures can go underneath you and you can just stomp on them. That was okay.
And definitely at times very necessary.
Sound wise, as I mentioned before, you can hear the ship creaking. You can even hear the squelching of the aliens around you. The voice acting was pretty darn decent.
That's company policy. We have the long-range tracker on board, plus plenty of food and water to last us.
Really enjoyed it. In fact, the game doesn't actually load at all. Well, it does and it doesn't. What it does is when it's loading between different areas, it sets you into these almost kind of like mini games where you either shoot asteroids or have to navigate your way through these caves. And I especially like the kind of rock music that they played in some of these sections. I felt a lot of work and care and attention went into the sound and the music. This was definitely a love letter of sorts to the past, when things used to actually be decent. And if you're still with me and you're enjoying this review, please do hit that like and subscribe buttons.
Them buttons.
And to answer that question, and to give you a score, yes, this really did take me back to them days and give me that feeling I really wanted of that atmosphere, that day that I first played Dead Space, this captures it. And I think for all of that feeling for £14.99 for 6 hours worth of gameplay, probably more considering it took me more, I would say it's definitely worth it. And I'm going to give, by grit alone, a whopping great 9 out of 10. I just love this game. Bye bye!